meeting. Preparing. Setting up your meeting for Facebook Live. Done. Redirecting to Facebook Live, and it looks like we are now live. Right. Got it. We are on.
Cool.
Can you see me is the question.
Yes.
Yes. All right. I'm going to get my little phone ready too to see any comments.
I can do the comments if you want.
Okay. I'll just have it ready just in case. You never know. So welcoming everybody who's coming on. I'm going to pull you up here so I can see what's going on. It's difficult when you're on Zoom. Because I like to talk to people. I don't like talking to myself.
Talk to me.
Diane quite enjoys talking to herself. Me, not so much.
I talk to myself all the time.
She's the true introvert. I'm actually a little bit of an introvert too. Okay, so we're going to look on those two sisters' time to shine. Is anyone on yet, Diane?
Let's have a little look. You can just talk to me.
I can, and people will jump on. Oh, we are. There we go.
Just get started because people will watch the recording too.
Right, we're on. We are ready to go. So welcome everyone to the Thursday night masterclass with those two sisters, being myself and my gorgeous sister. I'll point that way. That's the way she is on my screen, Diane McKendrick. And we do these now pretty much every Thursday night, depending on what we've got on, because every now and again our schedules
depending on how many hot dinner dates we have together. We do
pretty
have
much. Yeah. So if you see us playing around with the times a little bit, just work with us here because we are busy women and we need to sometimes reschedule. But our aim is to give some sort of content back every Thursday, whether it be a lunchtime or an evening class for you guys who are listening. Diane's going to keep an eye on the comments and let me know who is watching. If you're watching, we love you to get in there and Susan, get in there and get interactive and comment. And make sure that we know who's watching, because if you've ever done these, it's much easier when people are interacting. So as many comments as you can. And the other beauty when you comment is it boosts the algorithm and it posts on more people's pages. We need people to hear this content. So today we are talking about connection or disconnection, or the lack of connection we have. My children are not in bed. I've told them strictly they're not to come in. And there's knocking at the door. Go to bed, please.
But is it 7:30, Mum?
Yes, it's 7:30, Mum. Good night. I love you. Oh, she's stomping her feet.
Is that Macy?
School holidays. Mila, get them to bed. Get her to bed, please. Say good night to everybody.
Good night. It's only one person.
Yeah, they're watching on Facebook Live. There's millions of people watching us.
Everyone say hi, Mila and Macy.
Say hello and good night.
And go to bed.
This is the joys of single mothering. All right. Good night. Take your sister to bed, please. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Good night. Good night.
Michelle might have to mute herself.
It's got my name.
Okay, get out, please. Thank you. Good job. Ta-ta. Love you.
Ah.
No, seriously. This is like real life. All right. Love you for real life. See ya.
I love you.
Love you for real life. Hugs.
It's spelled my name and
Yeah, it's spelled your name wrong. Chuff off. Bye.
Chuff off.
Okay.
You chuff off. Chuff off.
Please, guys, go. Shut the door. Thank you.
Chuff off.
Right. So, different. I've got a bit red. That was a bit stressful. Oh my God. I swear to
Take
God.
a deep breath in.
No, it's all good. People understand what it's like to have kids.
Now
Now I've given them their attention, they will disappear. So a different format tonight. I'm really into this book. If anyone's been watching my Instagram stories, I'm reading this book at the moment. It is called This One Wild and Precious Life. A little story on how I came across the book, because it's really interesting when you start to really tap in and trust your intuition and understand that when you feel something, it's usually spot on. So I was up at Forest Lake Shops where they have a little bookcase full of just secondhand books where people are able to just swap books. It's like a little book club. Kids always want to have a look in there and we always dig around. And this one particular day, we were in there fishing around for books. There's like bookcases of books. And I very rarely look because I don't have time usually to read books. So I tell myself. And I don't know, I just had this little thing come into my head saying you need to reach out and get this book. A book. And they're all shitty ones. That, you know, the books no one wants.
Everybody else wants.
Yeah. You know, when you're like the Lifeline bid, you just hoik everything you don't want. And the bookshelf's usually full of old terrible books like novels and fictions that your mother used to read in the 60s and stuff. Anyway, this one book out of all of them, I just felt drawn to it. I reached out. I just didn't even know what it was about. I looked at it. I was like, I don't know why, but I feel I need this book. I took it home and I started reading it, and I've just, oh my God, gone to town. I've got highlighters, I've got pens. I just can't get enough of it because it's talking straight to my soul. So I thought the format for tonight, and typical Diane Michelle style, we never really rehearse how we present. So I thought I wanted to share some things that I learned from the book, and it's all about connection and loneliness, and then just get a little bit of it like a chit chat going with myself and Diane about the topic of loneliness and connection and disconnection. So the chapter I've chosen to book club tonight is called All the Lonely People. And it's basically saying that we have this massive disconnect in the world. It's huge. We can feel it at a visceral level. And it's presenting as loneliness. So that little horrible feeling you get when you wake up in the morning at 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning, it just presents itself wham, bam, into your guts or your heart or whatever it is. When do you feel it? Or when did you feel it, Diane? So a particular time of the day?
Yeah, all the time. Like for me, I connected it with, or it felt like something was wrong with me. And it wasn't until someone said to me one day, and it just like landed big time. She just said, oh, it sounds like you're lonely. And I just burst into tears. This was before I cried. I never used to cry because I was so disconnected, and I would numb everything. And she just said, oh, it sounds like you're lonely. And in the moment she said those words lonely, it was just like a cascade of tears.
Yeah. So it presents as a feeling or lack of connection, but it's actually the root problem is that we're lonely, and it's become like an epidemic. Stuff the pandemic of COVID, it's made us on some part. Oh, I've got full goosebumps. It's made us some parts probably get banned now. Probably won't be able to show this video because I've said the C word. But it's some parts it's made that loneliness even triple million times worse, but other parts it's brought people together. So, and I'm going to talk about the numbing that Diane just talked about soon, but this book is telling us that loneliness is actually contagious. So people are 50% more likely to experience loneliness if someone they're directly connected to feels lonely. So take that one in for a moment. So if you're surrounding yourself with other people in the same like vibration of loneliness, you're just going to get more and more lonely.
Which is actually a natural thing that happens because like vibration attracts like vibration. So if you're feeling lonely and you look around yourself, you will probably notice that those people that you're tending to spend the most time with, because you're comfortable in that vibration. So that's what you attract. And then often looking back at our parents' generation, because they weren't brought up like we were, and you're spending more than 50% of your time with usually your parents, and if they have been disassociated and lonely and disconnected, then that's the pattern that you learnt from the moment you popped on out. Maybe from the moment you popped on in and you were conceived through loneliness or through...
That's a big one. How did you even come into the world?
Deeper level,
There's an absolute epidemic at the moment. And that's why Diane, it's so funny, Diane and my business, it's boomed during COVID. Because everyone expects, oh, everyone's going backwards in their business. And yes, to some degree, when we have, lockdowns and we have in-person events we love to run, it has affected our business, but it hasn't, if anything, it's done the opposite. It's because people need this type of work. They need what Diane and I are offering. They need the connection. They need that feeling to get rid of this loneliness. So, and I like to give facts with these things. So in 2019, a study rated Australians as the third most socially connected people in the world, yet we're feeling lonely at unprecedented levels. So I was telling Diane the other day about this study that, oh my God, this just blew my mind. And it's a Harvard, a University of Virginia and Harvard University study of psychologists that found putting people in a room without their phone and without a book and nothing to do with their thoughts for 15 minutes. I thought it was 40 minutes. It's 15 minutes over. They're left alone and they could get out of it by giving themselves a self-administered painful electric shock. And 2/3 of men gave themselves the shock. That's ridiculous. And 1/4 of women gave themselves the shock.
Who on here watching this now or later, if you're watching the replay, what comes up for you if we were to say sit in a room by yourself with no distraction, no phone, no book, no pen and paper, no coffee, no drink of water, just you in a room with the 4 walls and yourself? What comes up for you?
Give us some words.
Into the body. Feel into your body. Like, is it that kick in the guts feeling? Is it you know, maybe you're excited that you can get 15 minutes space.
Well, a lot of people, some people they're craving their connection by themselves because they're not getting it anywhere else. So I'd love to hear anyone's comments on how that would make them feel.
Ginny says excited.
Yes, some people are craving it.
But Ginny's done a lot of work.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Way back in the day, Virginia, when you were super duper busy ping-ponging from one thing to the next, not with the awareness that you've got now, would there have been a time perhaps that you would have just like, oh my gosh, wouldn't have even thought about it?
Give me the electric shock, baby. It's just, when I read that, I literally fell off my chair. I was like, are you like seriously? Like, I know sometimes being with your own thoughts can be a little bit daunting, particularly if you're not used to it, but an electric shock for 15 minutes of being with your own brain, like that's scary. That shows you how much of a pickle this world is in. But the big question is, what are we lonely from? Like, what is causing this? And it isn't from more connections with humans, because we have the ability to connect. Again, I've got goosebumps with as so many people. Technology has enabled us to connect with so many people. So why are we still lonely?
And
yes.
When you're out and about and you're driving and there's people all around you, or you're in the shopping center, I remember an experience, again, just sharing here to help people land and drop in. Back when I was lonely, I remember being in a room at a 21st full of people, and they were all close family and friends. And I've never felt as lonely as I felt on that night. And I actually felt that lonely that I was watching myself in third person from outside. Like, I was at this party and I knew people quite well. It was one of my best friends. So I knew all her family, but I just felt so disconnected and so lonely. I literally was watching myself in third person from the roof. Yeah. And that was... You know what it is?
It's not the lack of connection. It's the lack of meaningful connection. It's the meaningful connection, not just connection, because there's a superficial connection.
And back then, that's a good point, because back then it wouldn't have been unusual for me to finish work. I was working in an office with 10 people, and then I'd finish work on a Friday afternoon, have Friday afternoon drinks with those 10 people. And then I would have a birthday party to go to, an engagement. Remember these days, Michelle, an engagement party to go to. Wouldn't have been unusual for me to go to 3 or 4 events that night. So I was seeing a surplus of people, working with people, drinking with people, eating with people, and feeling so extremely lonely. So that's what Michelle's saying. It's like I had connection, but it wasn't meaningful connection, because it was just surface level for me, because I was trying to fill the void inside of me with the people. I was outsourcing. I didn't realize I was doing this. Some of us do it with work. I was doing it with people. Some of us do it with food, but outsourcing what Michelle's going to get to and tell you about.
Yeah, because the other thing, we're lonely from the meaningful connection with other people, but we're also lonely from ourselves. Because we have forgotten how to connect in with ourselves. And the numbing that you talked about, that sort of dropping down in that dumb state, this was like, I had the biggest aha moment when I read this, but she said, in the times of crisis, the human species is genetically programmed to seek out other humans to survive. Humans' touch sees us, this is not what I thought it was, us downregulate our autonomic nervous system, which in turn enables us to overcome the fear and helplessness and fight for our survival with our smarts on. There was this one paragraph, and it was about basically saying we are programmed as like, here it is, and it's an evolutionary response to shut down and go numb like this. Like we can fight or freeze. I like the deer in headlights. The deer pretends it's dead. It stands there and goes, I'm dead. You might do it if it's like a mass shooting or something. You're going to pretend you're dead. That's for your own survival. So you've numbed yourself down and you've frozen to just get through life. And that's what people are doing. They're just playing dead. They're like fully playing dead and numbing themselves, like, because they don't know what else to do, because they're in so much overwhelm with this world and what's going on in the world.
And guys, this is not a conscious thing. You're not like, oh my God, life is really hard. I'm going to shut down and numb myself right now. You just feel numb. You don't have any elevated feelings. You don't have really low feelings, or the polar opposite that to Matt, you might have really elevated, agitated feelings and then drop down into a deep depression. That's kind of a numbness as well. Any polarity and then any flat line.
Flatlining is, exactly. And the beautiful thing is that she talks about this, and she says the Greeks argued that this kind of moral loneliness, so the moral loneliness is a disconnect from basically anything like that we're doing right for ourselves, the moral ethics for our planet, And because it's all too much, we're just numbing ourselves down, and it's moral loneliness. But that they argue that this kind of moral loneliness led to a state of what she called acedia, ACEDIA, which is a state of spiritual apathy or listless sloth. And I was like, oh my God, that is so it. When we
What's
talk
apathy
about
mean?
apathy means like don't care one way or the other.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
no zest for life, not really depressed, just this state of how we talk about being on autopilot. That is the state of what they say is called acedia. It's this sleepy, numb, numb. She's described it as it's the numb, blah, despair that kicks in when our overindulgence quashes our ability to care.
Flatlining, Jeanette says.
Yes, flatlining. Yeah, and she calls it a moral asleepness. And I was like, oh, that is so true. We're just literally asleep. And she realized it was at the root of our disconnect from this one wild and precious life that we've been granted. We're literally going through life asleep and not caring and not just, but it's all out of an ability to survive.
A protection mechanism.
Mechanism. We don't know it. Like you said, at a conscious level, we don't know that. But that's what we're doing as in an evolutionary sense.
So what we're actually doing, we are designed to do. What we're doing as a collective, we are designed to do that, to shut it down, to protect ourselves from out there.
Yeah.
In actual fact,
survive.
You're not just protecting yourself from out there, you're cutting yourself off from in here.
Yeah.
And so this is why this work sometimes can be so challenging, because what Michelle and I are reminding you of and teaching you is going against the way that you've been designed and going against evolution, listening to this book.
Yeah.
So that's why we have to keep bringing home, lighting up, activating, alive. What's alive in your body right now? Keep bringing you back to the body.
And becoming aware of it. And now that you've heard that and you've heard us say it, that will now prompt you next time when you're feeling that blah, that disconnect, that like you call like an itch or just that pang of what's going on. I just don't feel right. Numbness. It is a numbness. It is a moral loneliness where we are just, it's all too much.
Yeah.
We know what's going on with this planet. We know we're killing our planet. We know that we're in a bloody corrupt, bloody God knows what. We know we've got a pandemic. We know that humans have shown some really shit sides of themselves. And some of us that have morals and values just go,
and we know that
I don't know what to do.
Suffering, not just
suffering, yes,
within our circles, but you extend that out into other countries and other circles of people. We deeply know whether we consciously let ourselves feel it or we numb it or we shut it down, like Michelle's saying. We know that there is people suffering, really tough at the moment.
Terribly suffering.
And the only way we can deal with that, or one of the only ways that we're wired to deal with that in our evolution, is to numb it, is to disconnect it, is to cut it off and just pretend it's not there. I do it too all the time.
We all do it. We're all human.
I myself doing it this morning when I was putting my stuff in the wheelie bin to be recycled. There was a little bit of stuff that came up around that moral dilemma of recycling and a little bit of pieces that I'd heard here and there, and I shut it down straight away because I was like, I don't want to take responsibility for that.
Yes,
that's a big thing.
That is a big thing.
Yeah.
That's exactly, and that's why we do it. Like, we just turn a blind eye and we pretend it's not happening. Like, this book's opened my eyes up to, like, even the single-use coffee cups. I'm like, oh, and then I started to bag myself. How many times have I used single-use coffee cups? Michelle, what the hell were you thinking? Like, honestly,
this is the thing. You weren't thinking.
I wasn't thinking. I mean, complete auto drive. And
you know what? Having this conversation gives me another deeper level of gratitude for our mum.
Yes.
Because mum is someone who will challenge your thought process and challenge your deep beliefs. And I can be passive aggressive and it's too hard, it's too explosive, it's too persuasive, it's too much, and I'll numb it down. But my mum will keep pressing and keep asking questions, both to Michelle and myself, and go, well, you know, you bang on about all this stuff, but you're using a single-use coffee cup. And then I would be offended and think my mum was criticizing me, or I'd be upset. And I was like, no, mum's just devoted and committed to speaking her truth and how she feels.
And she's got a point. Like, people like talking like they're acting like they're in this, you know, look at me, I'm this amazing human doing all this great stuff. Or they, you know, I'm vegan, I'm animal rights, which is all great. And they're sitting with their plastic vegan smoothie, drinking out of the plastic straw that they're going to throw in the bin, taking selfies and modifying it so they look better. Like,
and we're not judging this.
No, and I'm not. This is
saying what's right and wrong, because
we do it. I do it.
we are
Exactly.
doing it right now to
And
the
it's-
level of consciousness.
It's eye opener. It's an
Yeah.
eye opener. And the thing with it is what we go into that overwhelm. Oh, well, I can't do anything, so I'll just do nothing. A bit like even when she had a point about watching the news, which I had funny because we tell people not to watch the news. And our point is, well, you can't do anything about it, so why take that vibration on? And she gave us a bit of a punch, like, yeah, okay, you can do something about it, and you need to know instead of shutting your eyes. This book as well. And her name is Sarah Wilson. She's an Aussie.
You know what? Not watching the news is a perfect example of exactly what's happening.
Numbing.
I can't cope with it. I don't listen to the news. I don't listen to the radio for this exact reason. This is like a really micromanaged little part of why. And we're doing that with all areas of our life. So give us the answer, Michelle. What can we do to find that?
So the first thing we can do is like, yes, we can do something about it. And what we can do is start increasing our own vibration.
Okay, right there. I want you to keep going with that. But when Michelle says stop, yes, there is something we can do about it. I want you to notice what you feel in your body, because when you said that, it was quite confronting to me, because I was like, that means I'm going to have to step up. And I get I'm like, I'm already fucking putting myself out there and doing the things.
We can always do more.
This takes it to another level. So keep going. You're saying you have to rise
to rise up. And if loneliness is contagious, then so is a beautiful vibration, and so is an awareness around the planet, an awareness around morals and ethics, an awareness of what we're doing and what we're promoting. And even more important for, like, blow our own toot and our own horn, but influencers, people that people look up towards. And it's a real art of not being able of accepting and being aware, but not bagging yourself out for everything you've done in the past when you were asleep. And up to this point, I feel like I've been partly asleep too when it comes to a lot of it. I'm like, oh yeah, pretending it's not happening. Of course, there's a hole. It's not going to happen to me. There's a hole in the ozone layer, not going to be my lifetime. But I'm also very aware of it, like with my recycling and using energy, but I could do a hell of a lot more.
Yeah. And I think it's part of the human condition. Like, there'll always be something, like, we're not going to be a martyr and have everything sorted. But as the levels of consciousness and vibration awaken and you start to flourish and you start to come up here, the standard of your life and the standard of your devotion and commitment to the universe, to the earth, to yourself, to each other starts to rise with it. So the higher vibrational beings, you're going to notice, are eating different foods, are taking a different stand, are having different conversations, are making different actions in their own little bubble and pocket for it to expand outwards and ripple outwards.
Yeah, and we've got to keep talking about it. We've got to keep talking about what's not right in this world. And there is a lot of not what's not right, but there's a lot of what is really good in this world too, because we're having an awakening of this amazing consciousness. You can see it all around, like this, the fact that this is all just mainstream now, that you can buy oracle cards and woolies and you can go and get sage and probably LD, like it's mainstream because we're having an awakening of such.
Who's the author of the book?
So her name is Sarah Wilson, and she was the lady that wrote the I Quit Sugar book.
I was going to say, I feel like I know her name.
Yeah, I think she was on MasterChef, and she suffers from, I think it's bipolar, severe anxiety. Her first book was about anxiety, and she's taken to going into nature and hiking to get through her stuff. And I love that she's so real, because I'm going to read this next chapter, which is probably, we got time.
Did you know Shannon said she's got this book on her bedside table?
Oh my God, Shannon Marsh. Oh, wow. It's just meant to be. I was meant to pick that book up. It couldn't have been more synchronistic if I even asked for it. It's amazing. And the next chapter that I just want to quickly touch on, and we probably can, this could be like a little bit of a thing, a book club type evening. It's called The Scrolling, The Bloody Scrolling. And some of the points she puts in here, and she doesn't martyr herself. She doesn't say, oh, I'm so perfect. She's like, oh my God. And she says what she's done. And she's basically saying we're blaming technology for all this loneliness, but it's not the technology. The technology just enables us to make these decisions. So we're lonely because of online dating. We're getting fatter, dumber, ruder, sicker, and sadder because we're addicted to our screens. Like, we all know that.
Did you know a habit that came up in Mel Taylor's Braveheart webinar when she was helping you, like saying what you're saying in a different way? For me was rush and urgency, obviously, waiting to be attacked, like waiting for someone to attack me. Making things hard and picking up my phone to scroll and checking for work. Like, sometimes I'll notice that I'll just have a bit of spare time and I'll cycle, check Slack, check Facebook, check Instagram to see who needs something.
Oh,
To
yeah.
see who I need to get back to. And I was like, oh, this is what we're talking about. That's the numbing.
This is exact numbing. So when things get too hard, technology has enabled us to take an easy way out. So she's like, instead of calling, we're texting.
Yeah.
Who actually picks the phone up? It's the easy option.
Yeah.
We've stopped listening to our voicemails. Terrible for it. Just because a voicemail to me is a confrontation.
So guess what? Boxer
yes.
has voicemail, but you can 4 time it.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
So that's what I mean. This is all part of the.
It's all enabling us.
Yeah.
Because we would rather have a back and forward voice message with someone for like half an hour rather than have a 2-minute conversation.
Because it's confronting, right?
It's so confronting. I can hide behind a safe persona that I get to construct before hitting send. I chuck on a wink emoticon and a double X at the end of a harsh message. I was like, oh, wow. Like, it's so easy. Like, I ignore incoming phone calls if I think they could be a tricky caller. I don't know who they are. I'm like, yeah. And equally, I pretend I didn't see a text message, thus avoiding responding altogether. But I've turned off my default settings so people can't actually see I've read it. I was like, holy shit. I know not to go posting messages on social media immediately after ignoring a text. Like, this is all like 2020 problems, isn't it? I've disabled the settings that allow people to know when I'm online and active on various apps. I'm avoiding the potentially ugly confronting image in the proverbial mirror that another human always holds up to us when we interact face to face or show up emotionally. So basically, we're scared of going face to face, or because they are a mirror of our things that we don't like about ourselves. They're mirroring that horrible side of ourselves, and it's exposing our vulnerability. And she's talking about IRL. I'm like, what is this IRL? I literally had to Google it. I have no idea what she was talking about.
I'm taking notes.
In real life. Like, literally, it means we are avoiding IRL. We're avoiding anything that's actually real life. We're taking the easy way out. We're taking the technology way out. If this is what you were talking about, as a conversation gets dull, we pick up our phone and scroll.
Okay.
Yep.
3. So in real life, right? So we're knowing all the things that we're doing to avoid real life, because we're all freaking doing them pretty much all of the time, including yourself and yourself.
Yep.
What are 3 things that you could offer us that is in real life?
Well, first one is straight up like nature. Like getting out in nature, like that is as real as it gets, in the fresh air. And
with
even
no device and not friggin' blogging it.
Yep. She'll suggest turning your phone off. Like when she hikes, turns her phone off. She uses it for photos, but she actually puts it on airport mode, so she's not interrupted. Yeah. And no blogging. She said she takes photos, but for security and whatever reason, she'll post them at the end of her hike or whatever, things like that. Obviously, real life connection with like deep events, like things that we do, like the Connect with Cacao, or events where you're facing people face to face and actually showing and being vulnerable instead of hiding behind a phone or a message. Is anyone else giving any other, like, what are some other?
Let's hear from you guys.
Yeah, I want to hear.
Because what a lot of us are doing is the disconnect. When is it that you feel most connected to yourself and to someone else?
Yeah.
And if you can't remember something recently, go back into the past and remember whether it was a conversation, whether it was being in nature, whether it was looking into someone's eyes.
Children help bring you right back to reality and presence when they're not fighting.
And so this is the thing. This is why a lot of us have a challenge with our children, because it's the polarity of the disconnect. The kids are making us connect back in, and still we avoid it. And I found myself having this conversation now. I found myself doing it this afternoon. I had a period of time before dinner to spend time with my kids, and I started to look for work to do. And I was like, no, just sit with them. Do nothing for a moment.
Yeah. Instead of like what we do, we go for that quick dopamine hit that gives us that adrenaline, to all that dopamine hit to our brain to reward us by refreshing our feed and checking who's liked our post and how many people have joined our next event.
Or another huge one for me, and I'm guessing some others, is learning something. Like if I need a dopamine hit, I'll open up the webinar that I missed out on last night, because it's going to
do
make me
you?
feel valued and worthy, because
Yeah.
growth is one of my highest values if I can do that. But what we're saying now is it would be even more powerful not to learn the information or to jump on there for a dopamine hit, but go and stand on the grass, or go and spend some time with my kids, or go and sit there and not be and do anything, not think anything, just
be with your own thoughts.
It's making so much sense, Michelle, why our business has boomed, because unknowingly, this is where the place we've been bringing people, ourselves and people, back to.
Yeah.
With this book and this awareness, we can make it even more
IRL. Even more IRL, baby.
Yeah.
And like the kids running in, that is in real life. Like showing that to people.
Yeah.
It's not, getting on our Instagram and airbrushing our bloody thigh gap and fixing, like, yes, we all still use filters at times, but I really make an effort to not use filters like more often than I use a filter.
Also, with this new information, are you going to keep using filters?
Oh, yes, I will, but I'm aware of it, because I feel as long as you're spending, 70 or 80% in real life and people are seeing the odd filter here and there, it makes for easy viewing on them. They don't have to look at the I sometimes think it's nicer for the viewers today to actually have a filter on. It's not really about what I think.
Because I go through that too. Every time I put a filter, I'm like, I mean, if you can filter.
It's literally gone through my head. Look, the viewers deserve a filter today.
Yeah.
But generally, just to mix it up too, because again, we have the attention span of a bloody snail. It's getting less and less. It used
15
to be,
thanks to TikTok, baby.
Yeah, TikTok. It used to be a minute, and it's down to literally 15 seconds. And even if on your stories, the block, I'll change, maybe I'll make one black and white, then I'll make one sepia, and I'll make one, because it's keeping people's attention. That is so terrible that that's actually a thing, and then we have to do that to keep people's attention more than bloody 10 seconds.
You know,
especially when we're talking.
What I find myself doing, because those goes for 10 or 15 seconds, the stories, if they've written it, or I know what the topic is and what they say in that little piece, I'll press past it.
Oh yeah, me too.
I won't even finish listening to the rest of the thing they say. If they give me a snapshot in words, press, past.
That's why you like mine, because you never know what's going to happen. Hey, Darcy.
Yes. I don't know if there's going to be thigh gap or not, if it's going to be in life or in fake life.
All right. And the last thing I've got little arrows on this one. This is very important. So back to the beautiful question, what can technology enable? And she says, this pained me horribly to declare it. It enables our human smallness. Bugger. How cool is that? It enables our human smallness. We're keeping ourselves small by using the technology to dumb it all down and to be small and be a nobody. I was like, bingo, because you can't get hurt when you're kept small. You can't get hurt when you hide behind a text instead of a voice. You can't get hurt when you WhatsApp something. It's easy. And another thing she talks about is connection light. I love this. Connection light, LITE, is the cheap diet version of showing up to others and to life. It's when we answer a message with the wink emoticon to avoid giving our opinion or feedback. Thumbs up, like we don't actually engage in it properly. It's a copy paste forward of how's it going, text to 6 people late on a Friday afternoon, instead of mindfully asking if they'd like to meet for an afternoon work drink. Bingo.
Yeah, you've got so many options. So many options.
And that connection light can provide us with fleeting, marshmallowy, dopamine and oxytocin hits. And it leaves us wanting for a full, real thing, full fat life. Full fat life. So what we got it here, and I'll probably end it. There's heaps more I'd love to talk about, but basically let's aim for the full fat connection, the full, deep, vulnerable, not hiding connection, the real, the ugly, the awkward conversations, I feel sick in the guts because I got to talk to someone about this. And when we go to text them, our invite to you guys is to pick up the phone and decide on the full fat version versus the connection light or the light diet version. Because the diet version it's like a diet. It's going to make you want more. It's going to, like a diet, it's going to make you just feel empty and want more of what you can't have. So cool. Oh, blows my mind. What do you think about that?
Full
Boom.
Full fat conversation. Full fat
Yes.
connection.
Full fat connection. Yes. I'm going to read this last quote and then we're going to finish up. So modern life has enabled our depressing sloth, which is that acedia I talked about, that being asleep. We are so fat on our individualism, materialism, and vanity, we've fallen asleep intellectually, morally, and spiritually. Oh my God. So cool. So cool.
It's very confronting, isn't it?
Very confronting because you know that you're doing it. We're all doing it.
All of us are doing it on some level. It's known as the human condition because we
Yeah.
are human.
Yeah.
And
so hopefully this little chat will basically shine a light on it more. And if it's confronting, then that's good because that's what it's meant to be, because I'm having full fat conversations.
And yeah, baby, like, well, you can dive in the deep end if you want, but your central nervous system will go into overdrive. But baby steps, I think the first key is awareness, having this conversation and becoming aware of it in yourself, and then being able to share that with the people around you, anybody else that's watched this, have these conversations and hold it and create a safe space to have full fat conversations instead of the text message, instead of the email, and hold each other accountable to that deeper connection.
Yeah, definitely.
To share another thing that I find when I asked you, in real life, something that keeps me in real life, and I think it's why I enjoy it, is doing a workout and moving.
Oh, yes.
Like, it's nice to look good and it's nice to feel fit. But when I scrape it all back, because it's something in my life I've been so consistent with, when I can feel a little bit of, or a lot of, or any sort of sensation in my body, it brings me into my body. So whether that be dance or yoga or movement for people, for me, it's like light resistance exercise with weights. One, you're going to get hot and get nice. You won't need the filter for the thigh gap because you have real thigh gap. The key here is that it lifts your vibration. And I think it's underrated because the light version of that is you exercise to look good.
Yes.
Me, I exercise to feel good because it raises my vibration, and then looking good is a byproduct of that.
So
not the other way around. And I feel like that's what a lot of what advertising has done for us is flicked those things, even meditation now and veganism and things that were higher vibrational are getting a lower field around them because it's been the light version of it, the diet version of it.
Yeah, so true.
Social media, so for us to stay small.
Because it looks cool too. Like, it's cool to be vegan. And I love vegan food and I love what they stand for. But I think some people are doing it maybe for the wrong reason. Maybe. I don't know. That's probably a little bit of a polarizing comment.
That's for everybody to answer individually on their own, because there'd be some things that both you and I are doing consciously or subconsciously because of the image that it portrays.
Yeah,
and that's what
right.
I'm here to talk about, is like a lot of what we're doing now in the technology world, or because of social media, or the disconnect, is creating an image that's further away to our spirit and our soul.
Yeah, but sometimes it takes more guts to say, you know what, I'm not a vegan, or I'm not that gluten-free or whatever. I do like to have a little bit of meat. Like, that's out of the ordinary these days. But it takes more courage to stand up and say that, because I always find myself adding to it and trying to justify it.
You've just had a big experience of that, which we probably won't talk about, but haven't you had to sort of stand up for yourself? And everybody was doing one thing, and Michelle and one other person, minority.
Yeah, but then you're justifying yourself. Like, I'm saying, oh yeah, I eat something. Oh, but it's always free range and it's organic, and it's like, but why do I even need to justify that? Like, why do you even need to say whether we eat what we eat anyway? It's irrelevant to anybody else. As long as it feels right within you and you know why you're doing it, then so be it. You do it. So, because I think food is another way that we've been numbing ourselves. Yes. Not even just like the emotional eating, but the terms of the chemicals that the food that we're eating, and being so disconnected from our body. An invitation to you in raising our vibration, which is what Michelle's talking about, is, the movement, what I said before, but simply listen to your body after you eat something. It will tell you loud and clear, but most of us are so disconnected, and we're from the shoulders up, that we're not feeling the pain in our gut. It's got to be really bad before we feel it. Then we're going to the doctor to get it fixed. Whereas if you were just like, what did I eat? Oh, I just drank a glass of milk.
and then you're running to the toilet, which is what happened to me. I did it for years. It was just, I just thought it was what happened to everyone. I actually didn't think about it. I was asleep, and now if I eat something and my belly bloats, I catch it straight away and go, whatever that was, I don't need to know the reason. It doesn't feel good for my body. So the invitation for you as you're going through this is whenever you eat anything, just tune into your body. It will tell you how it feels, and that will raise your vibration. Rice crackers was a big one for me. Rice crackers with peanut butter. I thought that would be so healthy. But every afternoon about 4 o'clock, I'm just getting this stitch and this pain. And then I realized I think that's what it was.
Wow. Isn't it? It's
months to bloody well work it out. I just put up with the pain.
And it's just so funny, the timing of all this and what we're talking about now. We didn't plan to talk about this.
I numbed myself because it was on my food plan. Someone else told me to do it to get that.
Yes.
I numbed myself because I was listening to someone external to me. When I finally took it on the inside and was like, that's how it feels. So I want you to all do that. And you keep going, Michelle. Sorry, I cut you off.
I was just going to say the timing of this is I interviewed Dana Williams on the podcast last week, and the timing was like bizarre. Again, the synchronicity around the whole thing and she was talking exactly about this, like listening to your body and eating to feel well and help and be well and wealthy. Oh, is that funny? I said wealthy.
That's true, right?
Yeah, healthy and wealthy, and feeding your body like with food that's going to be like a medicine. And not listening to the masses, and not just taking a Panadol side of some pain, and actually going within and taking off the layers and going, why is my body in pain? Why is it telling me this? There's a reason. And it's not just so to take a Panadol or like with stuff, creams or tablets or whatever, it masks the problem. Again, it's numbing. We're back to numbing again. Oh my God.
So go listen to Michelle's podcast, Soul Stories, and it's with Dana.
Yeah, the last one, Dana, Soul Stories podcast with Michelle Ann, and Dana Williams is the last interview. So yes, well, we have gone a little bit over time, and I thought that was a very interesting conversation.
I mean, there's so much more coming through for me, even chatting to you about this. I'm like, well, where does, when you said health and it came out as wealth, I was like, a lot of people out there want more money in their life, want to invite in wealth in terms of finances, and they seem to be hitting their head up against a brick wall. And it's because, once again, they're externally going on outside of themselves to build the wealth. Whereas if we go in and you raise your vibration, then that's been my experience. The more connected I become to myself, the more of the essence I am from my core that comes out, the more money that presents itself and shares itself and brings itself to me.
Yeah.
So
wealth is on the inside, and we keep looking outside. Everything is on the inside, and we keep looking on the outside. So it's right there. It's been there all along. We just have turned our minds away from it because of, for whatever reason, overwhelm, frustration, scarcity, whatever it may be for you. We've turned our minds away, but we've got to turn
the collective energy.
Yes, the collective energy, the world and what's going on out there is affecting us, and we need to turn back inside.
And I feel like, sort of in closing, that brings us to every single person on here watching this now or later, #replay if you're watching it later.
I'm going to put this on my podcast too, just so you know.
You now have a responsibility. You cannot unhear what you just heard, Michelle and myself included. You now have a responsibility, and you have some decisions to make, and you have some conversations to have with yourself and with others. Real life, true conversations that are icky and murky and uncomfortable and kick in the guts kind of feeling. And full fat conversations. You got some changes to make around how you're moving your body and what you're doing with your body. You got some changes to make around what you're putting on and in and around your body. You got some changes to make in the takeaway coffee that you pick up every day. And I want to hold you accountable to that, as well as myself. Like, this is how the world changed. This is how your life changed. This is how your health changed. This is how the loneliness, that piece of, so many people come to us because they feel lost, disconnected, lonely. This is how we change it. And then it is contagious. So as we are devoted to this and stay committed to it, Michelle and myself individually, me first and her by herself, and then we come together, and then Susan jumps on board and Ginny's there. I think Roger's watching this, and who else is there? Shannon's on. All the people that are listening, all the people that are working with us, and then you take it into your pockets. You now have this information, and you have a responsibility. I get pretty serious about this shit.
Yeah, you do. And teach it to your kids. I've already had some pretty serious conversations with my kids since reading that book about what's happening to this world and what we can do as a collective family to change it in our own little way.
So
Get them understanding.
What did you come up with?
We just talked about little things about you understand where the electricity comes from. Like what happens when you turn the light on? Do you know what happens when you use the dryer versus hanging your clothes on the line? Just our food, our wastage, how much we're wasting. Don't throw that. Does that have a recycling on the back of it? I've taught them all the recycling things to read the back of the packets. Just the little stuff, like just little things that they're going to grow up in the world knowing.
And will be their normal. We've started talking about growing our own food, like seriously, but it was in the heart too hard basket. But in real life, you eat real food. And real food, even the sweet potatoes and the fruit that comes from Woolies is not real. It is. Gus watched a documentary that I didn't end up watching because I was like, I couldn't cope with it. But all our food is sprayed with toxic chemicals. If you're spraying a chemical on fruit or vegetables and it's not dying, it's soaking it up and then we are eating it.
And you wonder why everyone's so sick and unhealthy in this world because of that. So if you're ever looking for good chemical-free vegetables, jump onto www.sprayfreepharmacy.com with an F for pharmacy, like as in the farm. It's all locally produced, locally sourced produce with no chemicals. I don't use sprays and I just love it. It's so fresh. It lasts for ages because it's so fresh. And I'm a pickup point here at Forest Lake, but you can order online and I just love it. It's supporting local business. That's another thing you can do. Support local business and local families to help, collectively raise the vibration of this place, this planet. It's our job. It's our mission.
Let's do it. It is our mission. So, and I mean, ultimately, that's what we were doing for ourselves and others before we realized that we were doing it.
Yeah.
And then it's just got words around it and feeling in a different sense. So, devoted to it. We've all got a responsibility now to move forward. It's contagious. We can do it together. If you're watching this and you're not working with us yet, but some of this has really resonated with you because we do too much to say here on a video. Like we run retreats, we run workshops, but ultimately we help bring people home to have these conversations with themselves first of all. And that's
you took the words out of my mouth. Exactly what I was about to say. We bring people home to themselves.
Yeah.
And then the rest follows.
So if you're keen for this way of life, and like I said, it's too much to say, but we work with people sort of without people realizing. And Susan, you're on here, Ginny's on here. You'll all know that you started to move differently when you worked with us. You started to eat differently, and it wasn't hard. It wasn't a diet. It wasn't a quick fix or a thing they're doing. You're just slowly evolving into eating a different way because you saw what we ate at the retreats, or you see how much energy we've got, or so it's these small little things that we're doing on autopilot that Michelle and I have changed and doing differently, and now a lot of the other community are doing differently, that you'll just go, oh, I'll try that on, that feels good, and then it becomes your new normal. And then so movement of the body, the way that you eat, what you're putting on and in and around your skin in terms of like deodorant. I just had all my amalgam, however you say that word, fillings removed because that's all toxic in your mouth. So it's just like little pieces of a whole much bigger lifestyle that we drip feed to you in the most
epic way.
Yeah, there you go. That's the word. I was like, what is the word?
Loving.
Yeah, feel into that.
Loving and epic.
If it's a full body yes from you, please just reach out. Drop in the chat or the chat, whatever. Full body yes, just say that. One of us will
body yes, and we can just reach out to us. We've got so much to offer people. We just want to get this out to as many people as we can. So yes, and I'm going to get this on our podcast too, so people can listen to it, because it was too much gold nuggets not to share it more wide.
Too many gold nuggets. Now I'm not going to sleep all night because I'm going to be questioning every single thing I've done in my life. And there's probably some awkward conversations I need to have with myself and really
me too.
Take responsibility.
No, me too. Makes you think twice.
And you know what? I know we're over time, but I think that's part of the reason one of the reasons I adore Gus so much, because he's very solid in his belief in terms of, I just was listening to him at camping the other day and I was like, as hard as it gets, you're just still really committed to the environment and still really committed to that, the truth of that. even
Yes.
when I kind of would push it down or when I would numb it because it was too much or it was too hard. He may not say the words, but he still has the feeling that he just cares so much about it. I was like, what a man. I'm so lucky.
What a man. I love it.
And now
So
I need to
beautiful.
step up.
She's
Yeah.
gone red. Ah,
Oh, I did blush a bit.
it's gone a bit blushed. So yes, so follow along at home. Go check out our website, www.thosetwosisters.com. It's got all the information you need. And the name of the book, if you're chasing it again and you didn't catch it, it is called This One Wild and Precious Life by Sarah Wilson. So go out and get yourself a copy because you're not getting mine because it's my Bible. Thank you for listening. No, no, really appreciate it. So we're going to head off. I can hear my children still not in bed. Mental note, put them to bed before meetings. I was trying to be like cool mum, school holidays, let them have a little bit of a.
Just let it be in real life.
I let it be in real life. I'll tell you what real life is going to be, me walking out and going, get out of bed. That's real life.
Okay, here's the thing. Next, I'm all about accountability and action, right? Inspired action. The next 6 steps that you make, the next 6 decisions, because I'm already starting to think what I need to do when I get off this call. And the first thing was reply and listen on 4 times to a couple of Voxer messages that have come through. What's a really poignant, is that even a word? Potent question that we can ask ourselves to catch ourselves in that habit, to catch ourselves when you go in there and yell at the kids, like, is this in alignment with my real life now, with this devotion to raising the vibration? What's a question we can ask ourselves so we can hold ourselves accountable and everyone watching can as well? Because it's these autopilot shit things, these things that we've got to change, right? You just want to go in there and be like, right, go to bed, and I want to finish off my night by replying to everybody, but that's got me here. And I'm still half a bloody sleep, quite clearly after listening to all that. And I'm like, I'm ready to wake. What can we do?
Basically, what am I in my truth and presence, really? Because truth and presence wouldn't get you doing messaging. Truth and presence would spend time with the children in a nice way.
Okay, so am I in my truth and presence? And what would your answer be with the kids with that? Go and play with them and put them to bed and sing to them and shit?
Yeah, be actually sitting like gratitude for the ability to have kids. So it's the gratitude really around it, which I've been doing a lot more on this school holidays, which has changed. You've seen how Mila's different. It's because I've been just being more present with them. And
I saw her today. She's like a different child. Yeah,
just being really grateful. And this, like, even before coming on here, one part of me wanted to rush out and prep for this. And one part of me was saying, no, Michelle, this is best not prepped. You don't need to prep. This is stuff that's going to come out intuitively. And secondly, spend time with the kids. They want to hug you. Mila was wanting to hug me, like, make the most of this. They were like on me, and I'm just like, okay, just sit. And I just sat and hugged them and didn't rush them into bed, hence why they're still awake. But that's okay.
So I won't listen to the messages or check the messages.
What are you going to do?
That gives me cringe. Because the head tells me, oh, that's unprofessional. I should get back to them straight away, blah, 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 blah. But my truth and presence is, I made a commitment to myself not to work much at nights anymore, to really just save my work for daylight hours. So what am I going to do? I might go have a cup of hot water.
No cacao. I might even have some cacao, even though it's got a little bit of caffeine in it.
I'll just have a cup of hot water and then, put the kids to bed, like you said, and spend time with them. And then
deal. So anybody that's watching on
we want to hear, quickly tell us before we go, Susan's still on, Ginny's on. What were you going to do when you get off? Because you would have had something in your head that you had to do. Yes. And what's the new decision that you're going to make? The new commitment you're going to make. So Michelle's is to be in gratitude for the kids and spend the time gently putting them to bed or maybe laying them with them or whatever. Mine is to not check messages and not reply because I'm not checking them. That's a big one. I can still feel it in my gut. I'm like, oh, can I actually do it? But this is where it starts, right? It's the little stuff like this. So Virginia's still on, Susan's still on, Michelle Pollitt, Shannon Marsh. Yeah, so Shannon's going to spend time with her hubby. Susan tells me messages will be there tomorrow. That's true. And says, thank you, thank you, thank you. Spray-free pharmacies dropped in there from Michelle Pollitt.
Thank you.
Yeah, we want to thank you guys as well. So let us know if you're watching this later as well, what you're going to do when you get.
Definitely. All righty. So I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, and I'm going to end the meeting, which will stop the Facebook Live recording, hopefully with technology working. And we'll see you another Thursday night. We always market it. You'll see it pop up in the feed. So if you're wondering if we're on or not, just check out our Those Two Sisters Time to Shine Facebook group, and you'll see it advertised in there. So thank you for listening. Great topic.
Do you want to tell everyone about the things we've got coming up?
Yes, quickly.
I don't know any of the dates, but we've got a cacao ceremony coming up.
15th of September, being run by Sandy.
September's already, 15th of September's gone.
October.
October is the cacao
Yes.
ceremony. So that's in person at Michelle's house. It's being run by Sandy and Marisol.
We have a half-day workshop
6 steps to soul success.
on the 16th of October, the day after the cacao circle. We're going to Pumpkin Island. Do they need to know that?
We're going on
And our next retreat, which is where we dig deep into all of this stuff, is in March next year, the 18th to the 20th of March. Still a few spots left for that.
There's a few spots. I reckon if you counted them, it would be pretty full by now.
You are just checking out a new location. I've been having conversations. So any other events that you need to tell them about?
The Theatre Freedom, which isn't until another month, but keep it on your radar, because I've been speaking to the people that did the one on Tuesday night when I was in the camper van, and Michelle had been at Dreamworld all day, and there's been some phenomenal results. Like
yes, the Theatre Freedom webinar. Again, it's all on the website. So if you're listening or watching this in the future and you're wanting to know what events we've got coming up, you just go to those2sisters.com and check the events tab. And it'll be all, our Christmas party, of course, lastly, but not least, we're having, I know it's going to be epic, amazing Christmas party on the
party of the century.
Yes, 12th of November at Dovetail's Restaurant. And it's $55 a head, unless you're part of our VIP package, our extended family. And for that, you get a free drink on arrival and canapes and live music and amazing company. I can't wait. Can't wait. So get in and get your ticket. Again, it's on our website. All right. Love you and leave you guys. Thank you so much. Big hugs. See you.